Hey guys, my name's Dax, and this is my week 4 reading engagement. Week 4, choice number 4. It's a biographical, it's a personal video thingy about a poem. So the poem I'm looking at is called "To a Daughter Leaving Home" by Linda Pastan. I didn't have a favorite poet before, but now I have one, Linda Pastan, and it's a poem about basically her daughter leaving home, but in order to communicate that her daughter's leaving home, she uses the example of teaching her daughter how to ride a bike and seeing her daughter fly away on the bike without her, showing that the daughter no longer needs her help or support. So it's very cool, very emotional, and I learned a lot about the poem from studying more about Linda and her personal life. The first thing that I learned about Linda specifically was basically she won a poetry award coming out of college, but then walked away from poetry for like 15 years. So she was a great poet, but then walked away from that because she wanted to prioritize her family. She wanted to concentrate and be a really good mother, and that adds so much power to the poem because it's about motherhood. It's about seeing your daughter leave and mourning that relationship, mourning the intimacy of that relationship. And it's crazy to think that she was so intentional as a mother in the first place throughout her life. And it's also interesting because since she prioritized her family so much, really, sunk into her motherhood and the family ship type thing, it gave her the ability to write poetry that was super relatable for the average person because she knows what it's like to just be a mother and to just stay at home and to be a wife, that sort of thing. So her poetry is very relatable in that way. And we see that all throughout To a Daughter Leaving Home. And the example that she uses is everyone's learned to ride a bike, and most of us has probably learned how to ride a bike from one of our parent figures. And so just the example that she uses, it's really easy to picture and relate to because of how specific it is. The other thing that I learned about her was she was raised in a Jewish family in the Bronx. This is interesting because, first of all, in an area like the Bronx, even 30 years ago, it's a pretty violent area, pretty rough area to grow up in. And on top of that, her Jewish heritage really prioritizes family. So she probably had a really close family, and it was probably instilled into her at a young age that family is super important. So knowing that she was raised in a Jewish family that was probably intentional and that they had to stick together in the neighborhood they were growing up in, on top of knowing that she took time away from poetry to really try to pursue being a fantastic mother, those details add so much to the poem itself, because we learn so much about her personally. Yeah, that's what I learned about Linda Pastan. This is choice 4, short biographical talk. That's what it's called for week 4.